Good day and welcome to this edition of Saint Sports. My name is Dominic Papa, and we continue our coverage of St. Clair College athletics. Always good stuff, always a lot of fun. The Sportsplex was rocking on the weekend with basketball. An amazing game with the men in Mohawk. Unfortunately, they came up on the short end of a 127-125 double overtime game. Saints men's basketball now sitting at 4-1, I should say. Or is it actually? Yeah, it's 4-1. So hopefully they'll be taken to the road now, and hopefully they'll continue their winning ways there. Let's get into some volleyball talk. We haven't had a lot of that this year, and we're going to get another look at both the men and women's volleyball teams this weekend at the college. We're going to be at the Sportsplex. So if you want to see some really good college volleyball action, you want to make your way down on Saturday. There's an afternoon tilt at 1 and 3 p.m. The women and men will be in action, and they'll be taking on Humber. Always fun to play against Humber. We're going to start things off with the men's team first, and we've got one of the key veteran players with the squad this season. He's a third-year player with the men's volleyball team. Simran Pahal joins us. A good day to you, Simran. Thanks for doing this with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
And right now the team is sitting at 3-3. Not a bad start. Talk to me about the play up to this point in the season.
It's been really good. Personally, I feel like we shouldn't be sitting at 3-3. We just had like a really close game with Redeemer that went 5 sets. So we feel like we should have won that. But we pulled back, and on that doubleheader, we played Mohawk the next day, and I think we bounced back and we kind of fixed our mistakes. We do have a couple rookies on the team, so we kind of have like those bumps in the road, but I think we look really good, and I'm excited for the rest of the year.
Yeah, you know, I say 3-3, Simran, and I can appreciate what you're saying. You'd like to be, maybe sitting at 4-2 or even 5-1, but the first 5 out of your 6 matches have been on the road. So really, I think 3-3 is not a bad record considering how tough it is to win on the road.
Yeah, especially when we have like a couple of the rookies on the team. Like our 2 left sides are rookies, and it's kind of an adjustment to have to make. But I think like the veterans on the team have done a really good job of trying to maintain like that consistency. But hopefully having a couple games now at home in a row will kind of just give it that comfort and ease of just not having to be on a bus for a long time and just being able to play at home in front of the support, where a couple of the places that we have played at do get kind of loud, and it is a different experience than being at home for sure.
Yeah, but you're one of the veteran guys, I'm sure you're familiar with the OCA and how it all works, and I'm sure Coach Riem is leaning towards you a little bit to help guide the guys.
Yeah, he's it helps this year, especially having a couple other veterans to help with that load. But he's just kind of asked for us veterans to take control and lead, and especially during practice and stuff like that, to just kind of implement what like other places will be, because we just played a game at Redeemer, and they seem to always be packing the place and they're always loud. So when we do drills and stuff like that, he wants the veterans to just kind of give the rookies a little bit of a taste, as you will, of like how it will be, and just being able to calm them down in the game and on the court as well. Because as much as he wants to be able to help when we do play, it kind of comes towards the veterans to calm everything down and kind of keep control.
You alluded to it earlier, Simran. The team will be at home for the next 3 games, which is great. A little bit of home cooking there. It starts this weekend with Humber. Now, even though we're not even at the halfway mark of the schedule, this game against Humber is right on your coattails. They're sitting at 2-2. You guys are at 3-3. This 3-game homestand, really, I not to put any undue pressure, but this could really make or break the rest of the schedule.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting this year where a lot of the teams can kind of beat each other. We've like noticed where teams that we've been playing have been beating each other. Like Redeemer beat Mohawk, and then we beat Mohawk and lose to Redeemer. So this year's gonna be really interesting, and every game kind of matters. Where a lot of teams could be having the same record but just placed differently, which is going to be kind of big going into playoffs and having that home advantage maybe, or who you're playing in the crossover. So having these games at home are really crucial for us, and beating teams that are beatable, as I should say, is kind of important, especially with Humber, not looking the greatest right now, but in them they can catch fire at any time. So it's kind of important for us to take these games at home and just kind of build off the momentum of beating Humber this weekend.
All right. Well, we'll be there, of course. We Digital Productions will be broadcasting the games. I'll look forward to watching you in action, Simran. I really appreciate you giving us some time here today, and always love watching Saints volleyball. That's for sure.
Thank you.
All right, that's Simran Pahal of the men's volleyball team. Again, they'll be in action on Saturday afternoon. They have the 3 o'clock game against Humber. The women will be in action at 1 p.m. They're off to an outstanding start, sitting at 5-1. The head coach, the veteran head coach, Jimmy L. Turk, returns to the helm. Good day to you, Coach L. Turk, and thanks for joining us here today. You have a beautiful setting there wherever you're at, and the volleyball team. You have to be. I'm guessing you're somewhat pleased with the team and the start they're having right now.
Yeah, really happy with our 5-1 start. And I should say, Dom, thanks for having me on the show. It's always nice to check in with you, and we appreciate all that you do for us at the college. Yeah, 5-1 is a good start record wise, and we've got 2 of those 5 were 5-set wins. So 3-3 could have been a possibility. 4-2, luckily for us, we're sitting at 5-1, and so we're happy with where we're at. With still very much to improve going forward. So the record indicates that we're off to a good start, and I think it's been that way at times. At times we haven't necessarily played well, but we've kind of caught some good breaks or played well at the right times and right matches to get the results.
I have the best job in the world, Coach L. Turk. I get to follow the Saints, so you don't have to thank me. I'm good. I'm there either way, whether I'm working or not. So it's good stuff, St. Clair athletics, that's for sure. Like the men, I'll ask you about this, Coach. What does it say about your team in the early stages? I guess sitting at 5-1, being that 5 of your 6 matches have been on the road.
It's really nice to find ways to win on the road at any point in the season, but especially with us and kind of who we have on the floor in certain positions. We've got 4 players in some ways who are playing a lot for their first time, and so learning in our league sometimes is challenging, and sometimes you got to take some lumps and take some losses to learn some lessons. Luckily for us, we've been able to learn those lessons, but also catch some victories. And so we've been pretty fortunate to give our first year athletes and a couple of first year starters who are in year 2 opportunities to learn and grow without necessarily impacting so much our place in the standings. So it's a bonus when you can learn some lessons and also come out on the right end of the result.
I think maybe you kind of just answered my next question here, Coach. Is there anything in these first 6 games that you thought maybe you're going to need to really work on throughout the campaign, throughout the season, and maybe they've played that well that they've helped you get to this 5-1 mark? Is there any surprises that way with the team that has put you at 5-1? Did we lose you, Coach? Okay, I think we may have lost Coach Jimmy L. Turk right now. We'll see if we can try to get him back in just a minute. Looks like his feed has frozen up on us. The women's volleyball team, they'll be in action at 1 o'clock on Saturday. That's at the Sportsplex, of course. And again, that'll be against Humber. Always a great rivalry, Humber. I'm going to just switch for a moment while we try to get Coach Jimmy L. Turk back. Did we get you back there, Coach?
Sorry, Dom. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm out here in the forest with bad connection.
You know what, Coach? It's the world of technology, so don't even apologize. It happens, and we appreciate you getting back on with us. I was just asking, Coach, your 5-1 record, great start. But is there anything that maybe has caught you off guard or surprised you a little bit that has helped your team get to this 5-1 record?
It's a good question. I think we've found different ways to both win and play well, but also play poorly. And it seems like each match is something different. It hasn't necessarily been the same thing that's been really positive or the same thing that's kind of caused us some trouble. So it's both good and bad because you have a chance to fix some problems, and maybe we're fixing those problems once we identify them, but then other other issues are coming to the forefront. I would say in years past, serving has been a big issue for us at times. Kind of can go cold from the service line and struggle to make enough serves to put pressure on our opponent. And this past weekend, we were able to play at Redeemer, which is a tough place to play, and then on a short turnaround at Mohawk. And that was our best serving match of the season by far, and one of the best serving weekends that this program has had since I took over in 2015. So that's most certainly that was a bright spot this past weekend, and hopefully we can take that serving to the home court this weekend, because we're going to need it if we're going to want to put Humber in any kind of trouble.
Yeah, Humber's always, in every sport they do well, it seems, and it's just a great athletic school as well. Coach, talk to me about this 3-game homestand that you finished you go to the break after this 3-game homestand. So the importance of this 3-game homestand and how it can set up the rest of the campaign for you and your team.
Yeah, we've had a good start, and like you said earlier, it's been all on the road, and we haven't had a whole lot of home cooking, and so you got to take advantage of your opportunities at home. You have to win at home in our league, because it's going to get tough in the second semester. Some teams get healthy. Some teams who are young maybe start to, not have so many bumps in the road with their first-year athletes, and so it only gets more difficult to win once we get into the second semester. And so if we can catch a couple wins here down the stretch, that would be a really, really good outcome for us. We're not really thinking so much about how we can do across all 3 matches. We're just trying to, as cliche as it sounds, just try to approach each day with a lens of, can we get better? Can we kind of tick off a few of our deficiencies and improve some of our strengths? And this weekend will be a really good and tough test against Humber. And then from there, we're going to run into 2 really tough opponents after that. Sheridan, at this point in the season, I believe, has 1 win. And so they're going to come in pretty hungry, and they always play us tough. And then Niagara has been maybe the biggest thorn in my side since I've taken over. So
yeah, you don't have to remind us about the playoffs last year, Coach. I remember it, unfortunately, but yeah, I hear you.
So, we've got 3 tough opponents, and I would be happy if we can get to 7-2 at Christmas. If somebody offered me 7-2 at the beginning of the season in the first semester, I would have been jumping for joy. So it's in the cards here, but we gotta stay the course. Gotta stay the course today and try to get better at practice today and see what happens.
Each year it's a new batch of players, Coach. The recruiting goes on. You bring in some players. You have veterans that move up, and I'm sure that you expect to take more of a leadership role. How do you adjust to all of it? Do you change your approach each season? Do you have to change your approach each season?
Yeah, I think you have to change your approach, not so much in the way that you coach the team, but in terms of what the priorities are, in terms of what you need to get better at, because each team is very different. This season we've been very lucky to have a first-year middle blocker who is very good offensively in Geneva Huseman. So we haven't necessarily had a ton of offense through the middle over the last couple of seasons, but this year with Geneva, we're able to play a little bit differently. And so our style of play is a little more unique. It's a little different. We're a little more centric in the middle, and we're getting some good production from her and Krista Nickel right now. And they've been carrying the load as our only 2 healthy middles for the last couple of weeks. So each year is definitely different. We've got 3 setters on the roster. And so each of them have different strengths. Chantel DeVlue played right side last year, and now she's playing left side. So that changes the distribution of our offense in some ways. So each year is different based on what you kind of foresee the strengths and weaknesses of your team being, and how can you highlight each player's strengths, and how can you try to hide our deficiencies as best as possible and improve on those as the season goes, so that those things don't come back to bite you when it matters in the playoffs.
Good stuff, Coach. Love talking volleyball with you, that's for sure. And Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. at the Sportsplex, I get to call the game. So I'm thrilled, and I'm excited to call that game. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we can help the Saints to a victory. Appreciate your time here today, though.
Thank you very much, Tom. We'll see you on Saturday.
All right. That's head coach Jimmy L. Turk of the women's volleyball team. Again, the women play at 1, the men at 3 against Humber. Get out to the Sportsplex. You could see it in the background there. Beautiful facility and a great place to watch any athletic event And if you can't make it, of course, we'll have the game for you on We Digital. I'm going to finish up the show with, of course, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the cross-country program winning an Ontario championship. So they went out west to Medicine Hat, Alberta, to vie for a Canadian title. And they didn't win the Canadian title, but you know what? They came back with a medal, which is a great accomplishment. The head coach, Mr. Paul Boots, joins us on the show. Good day to you, Coach Boots, and good to have you back. And hopefully, in the last couple of days, I know he's got some much-deserved rest, I'm hoping.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Dom.
Yeah, pleasure's mine. You go and win the Ontario title, so you go out west to Medicine Hat with that on your back as a target, so to speak, as one of the teams to beat. And the men come away with a bronze. And I don't remember off the top of my head where the women finished up, but if you can give us an overview, Coach, quickly of what happened out there.
Sure. You want me to talk about the?
Let's go with the women first.
Women first. So I'm not sure how the rankings work provincially, but the team that was ranked first ended up finishing 9th place. So Quebec just came in and ripped it apart. Their 5 teams went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our girls ran well. The times were good. The considering it was minus I think 14 for the ladies at the start of the race, which is pretty nasty. The snow was aplenty and it was extremely slippery. So taking all that into consideration, our girls had good times. We were pleased with their times. We just ran into some serious competition from Quebec because they just rocked it. That's for sure.
Coach, I don't want to use the weather as an excuse because everybody's got to run in the same climate here. But just the same, the teams out west, they're probably a little more acclimated to that kind of an environment. They get the cool weather obviously sooner than what we do here. I mean, we were in the high when you left. I mean, we were warm here, and then you run out to that. How much does that affect you?
I don't think it really does. I mean, Quebec was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if they have such nasty weather as Alberta. They just last year they weren't even on the radar. So I don't know what happened, but they were fast. There were some people running 22 minutes, 23 minutes, and we simply don't have that in our bank. But our girls ran well. It was a tough course. The Maya Palumbo led the way. She's been a phenomenal runner for us for the last, I believe, 4 years now. And our captain Natasha ran fantastic. Probably definitely her best season. She's been with us for 4 years as well, and probably one of the greatest races she had. So the other girls were all solid. We had a few rookies in there, and we were pleased. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, you just you want to make a good showing, and obviously it's always nice if you can medal, but sometimes that just isn't in the works. But you still want to give your best, and it sounds like the girls did that, so that's a good sign. How would you evaluate the season for the girls this year, Coach?
Oh boy, it was we were behind the 8 ball a little bit right out of the gate because we had some people on the team that literally have never ever ran cross country, so. That doesn't happen with a lot of provincial teams, but it just happened to us. So we were kind of playing catch up with the rest of the province and or country, and to come away with that silver medal at the provincial championships, boy, that was a real pleasant surprise. And we were kind of peaking for that. It's tough to come back 2 weeks later and do the same thing. So we did gear up for the provincials, and that was probably our Super Bowl for the ladies team.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Again, quite an accomplishment for the women to come away with that silver medal, and mentally, you as you mentioned, you gear up for that, and you're probably exhausted after winning that provincial.
Yep.
And no, the girls probably just said, I don't know how much I have left in me. To try for a Canadian championship, and now you're running against that many other teams as well that are national level competition.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was good fun. It was Medicine Hat was it was an interesting course. I'm not a huge fan of the 2K loop. I prefer maybe 3 or 4, but it was a 2K loop, so they get to see the coaches a lot, and obviously we cheer them on and root them on, but. everyone was slipping all over the place. It was some tough going, and it was, like I said, it was -14. The girls were dressed for it. We were concerned with one of our runners going in. She's running the cold before, and it didn't go so well. So, we put an extra couple of layers on her, and she was fine. So that was nice.
Let's get to the men, Coach. They come away with a bronze medal. And again, another great accomplishment. I mean, you have this program competing nationally every year now, and they're in the top 3 all the time, which is just a great statement. And hats off to you, Coach, for building this program to compete that way every year. What did you think of the guys' performance, and how did they feel about it?
It was phenomenal. The guys went out like rockets, and I know you know the name Tyler Jones, but he literally had the best race of his life in his last race of his 5th year with a 4th place finish. It was I was really happy for him. Tyler works so hard, and he's worked hard for years. So I was really pleased with his 4th place finish. Jake ran great. The strategy that we had laid out for the team was they did it to perfection. Jake followed Tyler, and he ended up 7th. So he's a 2-time All-Canadian, which there's not a lot of those in the history of St. Clair. So that was nice. Rick ran amazing. He did exactly what we wanted to do, and he finished 12th. And our 4th guy, our captain, Matt Lafleur, he was in a perfect spot with about 2K to go. And then we don't know exactly what happened to Matt, whether it was blood sugar level or hypothermia, but he certainly struggled on the last 2K. As a matter of fact, he doesn't remember the last 2K. And it took Matt 90 minutes to recover in the medical tent, and that was quite concerning for us. And as the medical people said to us, I don't know how he finished. And to be honest with you, neither do I. So it was a hell of an effort by Matt to hang on for the medal. And our other 2 guys, our rookies, they ran well. They both ran personal best times. They're back of the pack, but that's okay. Couple of good races, some confidence for them as we look forward to having them back next year. And the boys were pretty pumped. We were excited, and like you said, a national medal 4 years in a row. I had a few coaches from across the country coming up to me and asking me what we do and this and that. So that was nice.
Tyler Jones, what type of mark has he left on this program, Coach Boots?
I think his worst finish at the national championships individually, I believe, was 10th. But even as a team back in 2017, our team finished 6th, and we had 3 guys start in the first 5 steps. So, we probably could have got 5th, maybe 4th, but I mean, really, his teams and his individual efforts at the national championship were, as one of the other coaches says, if you're finishing around green people, you're pretty good.
He's a 5-time All-Canadian. To just think 5-time All-Canadian.
Yeah.
That's just an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, when I arrived, the only other person that was a 2-time All-Canadian was somebody I went to grade school with, Beth Brannigan. Yep. So that was the only one I heard of. And then when I found out that he was a 2-time All-Canadian, I was kind of told the story. And then now he's gone to 2, 3, 4, now 5.
Yeah. So as much as I hate to say this, Coach, it's now life after Tyler Jones for the program. It's obviously something that is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. There's a bit of a clearance sale this year with the guys. And we've, there's some great local talent. Obviously, we hope some of them come to St. Clair. St. Clair. The thing about St. Clair is that it's changed so much over the years. We have a lot of fantastic programs. The physical buildings, as you know, Dom, are second to none. It's a fantastic school. They treat their athletes great. They treat their coaches great. We're trying to get the word out. I actually had someone express an interest coming from Oregon today. So
wow,
I was pleased with that. So it's we're trying to get local talent on both genders, and there's still a little bit low numbers locally for running, whether it's a little bit of a hangover from COVID, I don't know, but there's some great local talent, and obviously we're hoping to pick up some of the local talent here around Windsor.
Yeah, and you seem to dig it up pretty good there, Coach. So
we're digging hard.
Yeah, and the results are showing it. So good stuff. Congrats on the year, Coach. Another outstanding campaign with this program, and like you alluded to, St. Clair is just doing everything at such a high level. In all their athletics, and the cross country team is one of those teams certainly that's leading the way. As I mentioned, you're medaling nationally every year. That's 4 years in a row, I believe, with a national medal. So that makes a huge statement. So hats off to you and the team, and congrats on everything. And get some much deserved rest. And I'll look forward to seeing you around the college. That's for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dom. I appreciate your support all year long. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. That's head coach Paul Boots of the Saints cross country team. Another outstanding campaign, no doubt about it. You can see at the bottom there, scrolling, senior boys football. Yes, there's going to be a triple. Well, actually, there's going to be 4 games. The junior game is played earlier in the day on Saturday, but the 3 Tier 2 games, high school championships, are going to be in the afternoon at Acumen Stadium. Proud to tell you that We Digital will be broadcasting all the games. We'll send some of our crew out there. There's a game, I believe. I know it says 3 o'clock. I believe it's going to be a 2 o'clock game. And then the other game is at 4:45, and then there's a game at 7. But you can catch all the action on We Digital. And again, thanks to St. Clair College for housing those games of the Wexa Senior Boys Football Championships on Saturday. So it'll be a busy day Saturday at the college between the football and the volleyball. We hope you can join us for all of it. Until next time, next week, come back and join me for the Saints Sports Show. Until then, take care, stay safe, stay warm, and have a great day. This is Dominic Papa signing off.